What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Next Level Sports. I'm your host, Ant-Man Z. As always, with my main man, Crash Nash, former semi-pro player and coach. Today, we're going to be discussing the Kansas City Chiefs. Will they be a better team than they were last year? They had a little bit of a Super Bowl embarrassment. But we're also going to be covering our top performers who we think we're going to shine in fantasy this year for them, and we're going to give you our predictions. This is a team that went to the Super Bowl Crash 4 times over the last 5 seasons. What's your thoughts on the whole situation in Kansas City?
Well, going back when I picked him the first year of Mahomes, that when they win, I'm actually picked him on a future. First week, I said that they would go to the Super Bowl. They end up winning. It's just seems like ever since then they just never look back, right?
Money, money, money.
But however, sometimes your views of things you have to change, kind of like a haircut.
Looks good.
Although I'm wearing Chiefs red today, I live in the Midwest currently, and boy, I'm going to have a lot of people hating on me after my view and my prediction today that I'm going to give you.
Uh-oh.
I actually said that they would regress, and there's been some things happen that it's kind of looking like some confirmation. We're going to dive into that. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay. So how do you progress from where they were? They've been the best team in the NFL over the last 5 years. They've won the Super Bowl when they've been there, except to 2 teams that they really struggled with offensively. 2 teams came in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then last year, the Philadelphia Eagles that were able to shut them down defensively. And when I look at this team overall, I don't know if they made the adjustments on offense to be able to overcome those terrific defenses that they did face and lost to. But they say defense wins championships, Crash. And you know that. You're a former defensive player and coach. I think they may have improved slightly on defense. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Spagnuolo also, what's Crash always say, it always goes back to leadership, right? So what impresses me the most is Andy Reid's kept his coaching staff at bay. That's very important. And then on the defensive side, they've made not only player changes, upgrades, but they've also, I can't pull it up. I had it. I had it. They've made some changes in their coaching staff on the defensive side. I had it. Sorry, I lost it. That makes me believe that, at least from a leadership standpoint in coaching, they've made some. What I'm saying is they didn't go out and get any more coaches. They did it inside, and that's what Andy Reid likes to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where your consistency comes in, right?
Absolutely.
But it's always hard to stay on top. Listen, your Pittsburgh Steelers, those are the days of the Steelers, Steel Curtain, the Cowboys. It's hard to stay on top.
It's a
very
league.
difficult.
It's a different league than it used to be. There's so much turnover now. I mean, wasn't it just last night, Micah Parsons, who you figured, hey, he's going to ink a deal. He's going to be the highest paid player in the NFL, non-QB. And he demands a trade. He said, I just don't even want to be here anymore. There's just so much turnover.
It's like really, and I was going to mention something about that because after all, the Cowboys, listen, I was impressed. But why'd you have to go there, Parsons? It's like I was going to say, Cowboys have made some really good offseason trades and moves to put them in position to where you want to be for them. You're like, okay, now they're going to take a step. And all of a sudden, one of their players, you can't really always blame him. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Let me throw a monkey wrench into the scene here because I just thought of this now that we're talking about it.
Sure, go ahead.
The Chiefs have to be in a win now mode. When you have Patrick Mahomes still in his prime, still able to do what he does, which is keep you in any game, you have to do what you have to do to win now. I wonder, do they want to solidify their defense even further and maybe make a Khalil Mack-like trade from, 2018, 2019 with the Bears, where maybe you give up your next couple first-round picks to Dallas and throw your hat in that ring and see if you can get a guy like Micah Parsons on that line.
Whoa, I never even thought of it. Never came to my mind. And that's something that we could see during the trade, right? Whenever all that comes, right? Not either soon or later, which is better. But
Let me throw another name out there too. Terry McLaurin just asked for a trade from
Oh my
Washington.
God. Are
He
you
would
kidding?
be a phenomenal addition for the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's really one of the issues here. Mahomes doesn't have a lot of weapons.
And they may have to do that because, well, we didn't get to that section, that segment yet. But if
You can
anybody,
lead
I
us
know,
there.
well, Chiefs fans are going to know this. They've been hit like really weird with injuries. Just
Yeah.
like 3 of their wide receivers went down all
Yep.
in one day in training camp. And let
Yep.
me just read it off to you if I may.
Sure. Yep.
This is huge. Xavier Worthy, this is not a good thing because I had, the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
It's not just a lower injury. Also, most all these are lower injuries, and also Xavier Worthy is out of with a concussion protocol. That's not good.
No, that could be weeks. You never know. And maybe
And,
even sometimes season ending.
yes, ongoing. And
Yeah.
marquee
Right.
players like Hollywood Brown, Sky Moore, all missing practice.
Which, let me reflect on the fact that their wide receiving core is already thin as it is. It
Yeah.
really is. Having lost Mecole Hardman, Rashee Rice, I think, is a lock as wide receiver 1. But if
He's
those
injured.
guys are down, who do
He
you
got hurt.
have? He's also hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They might not have any choice but to go out and get McLaurin.
And this
Parsons.
is really weird, bro. This is like where I can give God the glory because, like, I heard my spirit regress. And then 3 days after, I remember I was telling you about this. I said this to you off the air. I said I believe that the Chiefs are going to regress this year.
Yeah, and if you had any doubts, now they're. Yeah, I was going to say, if you had any doubts, now they're dropping like flies. What does that tell you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's hard on a team that was already thin at that position.
Bro, listen, and their wins, at least see, like in fighting or whatever it is in life, people figure you out, right?
Yeah.
And I just have to believe that just like Houston last year, they figured their offense out. These teams start figuring, these coaches aren't silly out here, some of them. They figured them out. And listen, they were only winning just by the skin of their teeth in their games last year.
That's the last 2 years. That's the last 2 years, winning by the skin of their teeth. But, a lot of that comes down to Mahomes finding ways to win games. Now, I know a lot of people, Chiefs fans won't agree with this, but a lot of people believe that they have a lot of help from the refs.
Yeah.
But, if you look at the stats, I did, but look, I checked into this quite a bit last year because my father-in-law is a big proponent of the fact that they get a lot of help, but they actually don't. The Bills are actually the most helped team in the NFL, and we'll get to them next week for you Bills fans that want to hear about that and come back and hear our take. But I think that one of their biggest problems is that, just like with all NFL teams, when you have a core group of players, the core group of players start to age on you. And even though Travis Kelce is a big time money player and shows up big in big games, him having to perform through an entire season again, he's not had the numbers that he's had previously. And he can't be the only person running around out there on the field and a bunch of other guys who are just trying to find their way. It's not going to work that way, is it, Crash?
No. Sorry, I had, you know what? The guy, I'm sorry, I got lost. But this is about being transparent and honest. I had we're not going to say who that is, but our partner that was supposed to come on with us.
Yes.
Was kind of messaged me. It just, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't look like they're going to come on board with us. But anyways, so it's kind of weird that as we were doing this, because so much of what we do is based on what? Faith.
Yeah.
And there goes to show you in the split second, things can change on you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And if you're thinking about the Kansas City Chiefs in that same mindset,
yeah,
there's not much they can do. There's not many places to turn for what they need. But they did make some additions this offseason. Let's quickly touch on that. I mean, they got the Magic Minshew to fill in for the backup Carson Wentz. I don't know if you want to call that an upgrade, but
yeah.
Bottom line is Patrick Mahomes cannot go down for this team. If he goes down, so does their chances of ever even making the playoffs. We'll just leave it at that. But I will say this. I think that they had a pretty decent draft considering how late in the draft they had a pick. And I believe that they did a decent job in the offseason of grabbing Let me see who they grabbed. I know that they grabbed a cornerback. They got Christian Fulton. He'll probably be a starter. And they got Jalen Moore, who will probably be their starting left tackle. And then they
No,
grabbed Josh Simmons out of Ohio State in their first round, who will
well, that's what
probably
I was
be the
going to.
complimentary guy. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
exactly.
they're talking about Simmons will probably be that guy on the left end there, but
Oh, you think he's going to take that spot? Okay.
well, they're saying that right now,
Yeah.
and I'm just listening to what things coming out of
You're the
camp.
expert, bro. And not only that, but you followed Ohio State quite a bit last year. What'd you think of his play?
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, he was part of the championship team, right? That
Yeah.
sealed that line side. But
Yeah.
didn't he have an injury? Wasn't he coming off of some kind of injury or something like that? I
I
was
believe
reading.
he did, but he's completely cleared from what I saw, you know,
Right,
with the way they're
right.
dropping in practice up there in Kansas City. I don't want to say anything that might jinx the poor
Bro,
guy, but
bro, I guess my biggest concern is just this wide receiver core. This
yeah,
stuff isn't already we're seeing, and that tells me something. Maybe now watch.
yeah,
We don't know what they did in the offseason. Now some take it. I'm not trying to say, but it's just really weird.
yeah.
Like, did they all just go to Jamaica somewhere and kick it? I'm just saying, for all of them to have these injuries, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? All at one time, did they take their offseason seriously? You know what I
right.
mean? And one other thing I'm going to say, and people are going to probably throw stones at me for saying this, but I just felt like Kels, a lot of the spotlight is on him. Sometimes that can hurt you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
they also, I think that at this point, they have to be suffering from fatigue. You put something in the spotlight for that many years, and there's only so much you can squeeze out of a grape, for example. And maybe they are nearing the end of their run, but we'll get to our predictions in a minute. I
Yeah.
think that we do have to mention their one strength, Crash, and that is your forte. It's defense. And with Chris Jones plugging up that middle, and
Right.
it literally takes 2 to 3 guys to contain this one man,
Yeah.
he causes havoc on that side of the football. And it's, to me, why Kansas City has been able, besides Mahomes' ability to just pull off miracles, he's what's kept them in every single game.
Yeah, and you have to remember something also. Like these teams, the reason why they're at the level they are now is because they lost for so many years and they're loaded with first round draft picks.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're picking 30 and above for 5, 6, 7 years on end, it gets difficult to grab somebody that's good. But speaking of people that are good, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who do you think on that team is going to be a fantasy potential? Because I know a lot of people that watch football, fantasy football is such a huge thing. You want to know who on this team is going to score points. And I have to be honest, I want to say it was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was 3 years ago. I don't remember now at this point, but I remember having Patrick Mahomes on my team, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a scoring machine. And Crash, the last 2 years, he's not the numbers guy anymore. He's still, I'll get you to the championship guy and I'll win the game guy, but he's not throwing 35, 40 touchdowns anymore. And he's
Mm-hmm.
not running for 1,000 yards on the ground. Is he a fantasy potential guy anymore?
I like somebody better, a sleeper.
Who you
And
got?
I loved him when they first got him. He left and they brought him back and he's back again for another year. If he's healthy, Kareem Hunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, if especially if they get
You'd
into
have
a
never
lot of
thought
goal
about
line
that, would you,
situations.
Ant?
No, because my mind immediately goes to Isaiah Pacheco because you know he's going to be the workhorse. He's going to get a ton of touches.
Right?
But I'll tell you right now, man, he had a very, very difficult postseason for them last year. Even though they did get to the Super Bowl, he didn't have a single great game along that stretch that was like, hey, I'm the guy that can put the team on my back and get break 150 yards and break 2 big runs with a touchdown. He's a workhorse. He'll grab those
But
passes out of the backfield, but he's
but they
not
brought
breaking
him
any
back
records
for a reason, man.
to score touchdowns.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, as you're talking about fantasy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't think that I don't think in any league though, you're going to look at Kareem Hunt as an RB1.
but
You
they're going
might
to
be able
have
to
to.
look at him as a flex.
But they're going to have to rely on maybe their backs heavy now because
Yeah.
if this
Right.
plays out like this
Yeah.
and the way that Mahomes is going, Andy Reid, he improvises. He knows how to improvise. I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
I'm with you on that, bro. And
Either one of the backs.
I got to be honest with you. I look at my list here, and I don't have anybody on their team as a
Yeah.
top 10 pickup.
Yeah.
I think that you could go for Rashee Rice. Maybe you'd be stretching to get him in the top 10 guys, but now it's going to be injury dependent. Where's he going to be with that? Now, I think maybe you might get away with picking the Kansas City defense because they're probably going to do fairly well for you. But you know this, Crash, better than anybody. You could have the greatest defense in the world, but if they're on the field 90% of the game, they're going to get tired.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think our viewers are going to see where you really are knowing a lot more about NFL than I was. Let's remember also, my forte, my specialty is college. I was off the NFL. I've been so bitter about the NFL for a long time. I only came back halfway through the year last year and started kind of watching.
I'm glad you let me drag you back. I'm glad you let me drag you back because your insight is needed. We need that. We need that former player and former coach's perspective to be able to shore things up because, you know, it's one thing to be a fan and an analyst. And boy, there's a lot of talking heads out there if you've listened to any of them. Yeah. And sure, we're probably two more. But, you know, people pay attention and listen when it's a guy that's been in the trenches, a guy that's been on, when I say both sides of the ball, right? Yeah. Not only in the trenches, but on the sidelines, telling other players what to do too, because you
absolutely and front office. Let's keep that in mind as well. I've been a spokesman and sales and marketing director for a football team.
I was going to say I don't want to give away too much, but there's a chance you might be getting back into that, right, Crash?
Oh man!
Like I said, I won't give away too much right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll get
but you know,
let me ask you this: what's your predictions for them this year?
Well,
let me read off their schedule to you first, so you know who they're playing.
I looked at it before. Yeah, go ahead.
You did. Okay, so they play the Chargers on week 1, and that'll be the Friday night game, which is pretty cool.
Where's it
then
at?
They're going to have a rematch of the Super Bowl against the Eagles.
Hold on, stop. Slow down. Where's it at?
That's in Kansas City, game 1. That'll be at home. And then at home the following week against the Eagles is a Super Bowl rematch. Mm-hmm. So they open the first 2 games at home. And I think they can win both of those games, to be honest with you. I think the Chargers are still trying to figure out where they're at. You remember their last game was Justin Herbert had the worst game of his
I'm giving our viewers a bonus pick right now. There we go. They'll drop that game to the Chargers.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, wow.
Yeah, that's one of my teams. Listen.
We'll revisit that in your picks on week 1. Maybe they have even less players on the team. They have to forfeit it. It might not even be a bet. We'll see what's going on.
Could be wrong.
Yep. Here's what I have them. I think that, and this is just my opinion, of course, but I think that they're still in a weak division over there in the AFC West. I don't know what the Chargers are going to do this year. I think that they're a big question mark. I think that when you look at the Raiders, they're not there yet. That's a team that's not there yet. I think with Denver, you run the risk of Bo Nix not having as good of a year as he did last year. Well, look, he's either going to step up. It's same thing. He's either going to progress and they're going to be great and win the division, or he might regress a little bit. People get more film on him now. You know how that goes, Crash. I think that both of those teams in LA, Chargers and the Denver Broncos, I think they're question marks. And then when I look at the Las Vegas Raiders, I don't even have a question mark there. I got a big X. And it's funny because my wife just thought that they were going to do good. But I think that Kansas City still has to be the front runner to win this division based purely on Patrick Mahomes.
I have a different view. I have a different view.
You did.
I have a way different view. I believe that these teams like the Chargers, look what they did last year, man. And now they brought in some key pieces. They were right there, man. And as I said before, if my prediction is right and the Chiefs regress a little bit, that means I'm leaning towards some other teams to take that step up this year is what Crash is saying.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got them at a best 11-6.
Oh.
And at a worst 10-7. And
really?
I think that that's good enough to still win the AFC West. That's my prediction right there. Only because I see the rest of the division as weak and everything is contingent on Patrick Mahomes. Now, look, if Patrick Mahomes goes down at any point in the season and they don't have him, this is a team that even with Andy Reid doing everything he can, and he's arguably the best coach of the last 20 years, up there with Belichick. I don't think that they can win 3 games without Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So it's all about Patrick staying healthy, and that's their best chance to win it. Now, I don't believe that they're going to be able to go anywhere, and I'm sorry, Kansas City fans, but look, any given Sunday, right, Crash? Any given Sunday, but they have their work cut out for them to be able to get back to the Super Bowl. And if I had money to put on this, it certainly wouldn't be on that.
I'll say that and this is a tough one because, like, I could almost even see them going just 500 even. But I will say this: they will not make the Super Bowl. They will not get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time seeing that happening too. But we'll see what happens as the season progresses. And hey, landing a guy like a Micah Parsons or a Terry McLaurin might change our opinions quickly, wouldn't it?
Man, and that's so sad about how the NFL is going, right? Because these players, it tells me a few things about them. Like, how much is enough, bro? Because, I will say this about Patrick Mahomes. He must have took a pay cut because he restructured his contract.
He did. He
So
took a pay
kudos
cut
to you, my man.
City.
That speaks volumes. So
you know what? I'll tell you another thing
ahead.
I like about Pat Mahomes. He's a born again believer, and he's not afraid to talk about Jesus out there. And so just for that alone, I'm a fan of his. Just for that alone. Still don't think they're going to get anywhere near the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, guys. But I'm a big fan of Patrick Mahomes just because
that's the whole thing. I mean, it's like when it comes to the Chiefs, so much is expected of him.
Yeah.
You just said it.
Yourself, even
you said it.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go, they don't go.
Yep.
And remember, he's taken some knocks because of his running style. Didn't he have an injury?
He did. That ankle's been plaguing him for a couple of years now. We'll see what happens. But just a reminder, my prediction is they still win the AFC West. Crash's prediction is maybe they crack the top 15 for the draft in the first time in the last 10 years. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, we appreciate you coming. Guys, we only need a few more subscribers to get to that 50 mark so we can go live with you guys. We want you guys to be able to interact with us live. So make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, pass it on to your friends, especially all your Kansas City fans so that they can come yell at us. We got 31 more teams to do. So we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.